Nana Aduna the second. He's Achami Hine. Oh gosh. I love this man. Nana, you're welcome into the studio. How are you doing today?
How are you doing? Thank you very much, and thank you very much for the awesome, enthusiastic welcome. I'm humbled.
Oh, my God have mercy. In fact, we are so happy to have you. We spoke with you only yesterday, and I've been trying to find your number all this while, and we only got it yesterday, and I'm glad that you accepted to come and talk to us today.
Thank you very much. I'm very privileged to be here, and thank you very much to the Media General Group, the 3FM. We've done some collaboration with them on the Valentine's. I struggle to say chocolate, but anyway, the Natural Chocolate Week, and I'm sure I'll explain to you why.
For real?
Yeah, and so thank you very much for the opportunity, and we hope this will be an interactive, educative session, and it will put a lot of things in perspective.
It will certainly do. It will certainly do. Now, what makes you so humble? I mean, looking at all your achievements, all the way from Ghana schools, going all the way to Stellenbosch in South Africa, and being the very first black student amongst white people and all that. What is this thing that makes you so humble? Tell me, Doc.
I don't know whether it's maybe it comes from my mother. Some people also say I'm tough and arrogant, so that's. But yeah, I think that it's just that's the way you learn. You assimilate things, and being in South Africa teaches you a lot in terms of that humility. And I mean, I always say that in South Africa you learn that you have the eighth world, not even the third world, the eighth world, and the half world, because the extremes in disparity in quality of life and wealth is amazing. So that maybe that also comes as part of it.
Walk me through your upbringing. Where were you born, when, and to which parents?
Wow. Okay. Blessed late parents, Mr. and Mrs. S.B. Mfodwo, born. Incidentally, I was born, maybe that's where it comes from. I actually didn't think about it. I was born in Mampong Hospital, which is now the name the Tete Kwashi.
Yes. Oh, wow.
See, so now you took my mind over something. But I grew up largely on Legon campus. My father was worked there, and then he incidentally academic registrar. He worked at broadcasting, was Director General for a brief spell. Then he went back to Legon campus. Incidentally, exams are called Mfodwo on Legon campus. So when you hear the Commonwealth boys singing, yeah, that's it. Mother, she was a tough driver, disciplinarian, teacher, entrepreneur, matriarch. That's where the chieftaincy comes from. Because we're matrilineal from Kapong, introduced us to farming, hard work, and discipline right from early on. So that's where some of it comes. I went to Achimoto School. Fortunate enough, incidentally, again on a Cocoa Board scholarship. Those were the days when, we were privileged to have benefited from the Cocoa Board scholarship.
That's right.
And then went to University of Ghana Medical School, studied medicine, finished. Then soon after went to South Africa, studied psychiatry. That's where, again, it was almost like in Stellenbosch. Stellenbosch is very, very known for wine industry, and as you get into the wine, you understand things, you just wonder, but cocoa and wine are very, very similar. So when I became a traditional leader, which was as far back as 2000, that was something that struck me. Then soon after, I joined a company called Pfizer. I worked for them, fortunate enough to be responsible for their interesting blue pill called Viagra at the time. So we did a lot of the marketing, medical work initially, especially from in Southern Africa. And again, cocoa came back there because when you look at the components, for example, for male erections and what leads to erections in males, and you also look at how cocoa works. scientifically. Viagra is a failed cardiovascular drug. And so when we were researching on it, we found out that no, rather than just lowering the blood pressure, it also gives us a good hard-on. So that's, and as you start to understand polyphenols and nitrous oxide and how it opens the blood vessels, it's all right there in cocoa. So cocoa is a very interesting medicinal or medical product. And so if you'd allow me to then dive straight into the history from there, because we're talking history here.
No, I'm still in your background. I'm still talking about your background. All right, so Dr. Yawo Mfodwo.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Yawo Mfodwo is my guest. Yes. And we are talking. Now, I mean, how many children were born in your family?
Immediate family, we are 3 and I'm the last, the third. But in the way that we saw family, then we grew up with so many cousins, uncles, etc. So we were all like siblings.
Was your father married to one woman?
Yes, he was.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
But what was your upbringing like? Were you able to eat 3 times a day? Were you rich? Was there money at home?
There was joy, happiness, and discipline at home. Yes, there was some money. My mother was very entrepreneurial, and so in that respect, there was some money. But there was not the sense that there was like wealth. No, it was very, very organized, and money did the right things that it was supposed to do. Yeah.
Are you the firstborn, secondborn,
no, I'm the last?
Lastborn. Oh, maybe last.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow,
yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Now you went to school. Did you go to Achimota school?
Fortunately or unfortunately, yes. Because it is both. Going to Achimota is both a blessing as well as, I would use the word not curse, but in the way that
a near case.
Well, I wish you because you see, when you understand Achimota, for example, again, let's talk some history here. When you listen to all the names of the houses in Achimota, Lugard, Cadbury's, Livingston, let's take out Agri, let's take out Jamfi, McCarthy, and I'll focus on McCarthy. I was in McCarthy House.
Okay.
And incidentally, again, we're talking tradition. Sir Charles McCarthy came from Sierra Leone.
Yes, he did.
1825. He was slaughtered by the Ashantis.
Ashantis, yes.
Exactly. Incidentally, I am a traditionalist. The skulls of McCarthy and Ensign and Wetherell and Co. are what the Ashantis had, and we call Odosu. That is what we used to celebrate Ujra.
I see.
That is the symbol of Ujra.
I see.
So
the head of McCarthy
and Enseral and Wetherell.
Okay.
Because those days when you went to battle, you carried your trophies. Okay. So incidentally, like I said, I went to McCarthy House. McCarthy, when you look at the other houses, Lugard, brutal.
Yes.
Brutal and slaver from Nigeria. Cadbury's.
Yes.
What did they do? They came to buy all cocoa and whatever. Livingston, he said he discovered wood.
Yes.
Where were they? Where were the people who were staying by
in fact
the falls?
That's right.
The falls that thunder. Where were the people who were staying that David Livingston discovered? Nonsense. And which other house?
Gaggisburg, yes.
Gaggisburg.
Yes.
Some good parts, but then again, when you understand the history of cocoa, you see where Gaggisburg comes in
with his Gaggisburg economy.
And our current president, who, sorry, let's be very blunt, has lost his way. Always used to refer to the Gaggisburg economy and how he wanted to change the Gaggisburg economy. What has he done about this Gaggisburg economy that still enslaves us, and now we have to run back to the IMF? Not right. Anyway, so Achimota is a very interesting incident. The school was built in 1927, whatever, primarily to train civil servants to do the paperwork and whatever for the export of cocoa, gold, extra. So when you look at even the way the railways were set up and the things that cocoa money was used to build, Achimota, Kolebu, Takrady Port, the railways, etc. It's a fascinating thing, especially when you reflect as an Achimota, unless you do not want to understand your history.
That's right. So Dr. Yao Mfodwo is my guest in the studio. Oh my God, he's a consultant psychiatrist. At the same time, he's a sleep therapist. He's also a chief. Oh my God. His portfolio is huge. And we're talking, he's also a king of cocoa. Now tell me, where from this interest in cocoa?
Again, now you actually jogged my mind. I think maybe so it was in the genes. I was born into Kwashie, and I benefited from the Cocoa Board scholarships.
Wow.
And I became a traditional chief. And this was in 2000. And our family has always been steeped in cocoa. In fact, one of the farms that we do a lot of our products from, including our ecotourism product, etc. And incidentally, let me just pause and say that my people, please, today I would not just be a cocoa expert and enthusiast. I would also try and promote my products because everybody says that anyway.
Yeah, feel free.
Yeah, okay. So in 2000, I was made a traditional chief at Chamhini, or traditional area, and then I found out a lot more about the background of my family with respect to cocoa. We were one of the early involvers in cocoa. And again, I would just like to shorten things by interspersing the history of cocoa with my family involvement. Okay, cocoa came to this part of the world really 1815 by the Dutch. Then the Basel missionaries were then the second, and when Andreas Ries, and incidentally, again, the Basel missionaries, and when you hear the name Basel, they came from Switzerland. The Basel missionaries, they were the first lot that actually first Christian mission to really settle in Ghana. And incidentally, Nana Addo Dankwa, the first at the time, incidentally, who our president is named after, accepted the Basel missionaries to settle in, but he gave them one condition: go and bring a black man, who can read the Bible. Okay, so incidentally again,
did you say that they brought cocoa to Ghana?
The Basel missionaries were the ones that actually planted and settled cocoa, because the Dutch tried it in the coastal areas. It didn't work. The Basel missionaries, and the history helps us understand that better. So Andreas Ries was asked to go and bring black people who can read the Bible. So he went to Jamaica, and all this is documented very clearly in the Presbyterian Church. Yeah. So he went to Jamaica, where they had the Moravian Jamaicans, who are our own kith and kin who had been taken there. So you have family names like Rochester, Selikem, etc. They were the black folk who were brought, who could read the Bible.
From where?
From Jamaica.
Okay.
So when the Basel missionaries, when the Andreas Ries brought these black folk back, and Nana Addo Dankwa saw them, he says, okay, now these people are like us, so they can read the Bible, so we would allow you to set your mission up here. Now they brought cocoa and actually established the plantation. They brought cocoyam, they brought groundnut as foods that we eat.
So they introduced granules to this country,
and
cocoyam,
yes,
and cocoa.
Yes.
So where does Tete Kwashie come in?
Okay, Tete Kwashie was an employee in the blacksmith of the Basel missionaries.
Okay.
Now, incidentally, at the time, when the slave trade, and cocoa has a very interesting relationship with slavery. When the slave trade was going down and the British were going around blocking everybody, whatever, there were wealthy Portuguese in Brazil, particularly, and in the North Americas, who wanted to keep their wealth and keep doing the things that they were used to. So they ran away with their money to places like Fernando Po, which is now called Bioko, Sao Tome, Principe, those small Portuguese islands, which were incidentally non-populated. So they came and set up plantations like the way they did with the slavery, and they brought their money and they started growing cocoa, bringing slaves from Gabon, Angola, from Sierra Leone, etc. Okay, let's note that cocoa had already been discovered by the Spanish. Hernan Cortez in 1520, they had been drinking it and whatever, and it was really for the wealthy at the time. Now in the 1800s, when they started making milk, mixing it with sugar, because sugar had already also been discovered, or sugar had been created from jaggery in India, and it was now being commercially produced. So they had to use sugar to mix with the cocoa to make it taste sweeter. Then they discovered also how to press cocoa butter out of cocoa liquor. Okay, so that was the beginning then of the making of chocolate. And incidentally, all these things happened in the 1800s. So when you hear all the big cocoa name or the big chocolate names, Nestle, Lindt, which are the Cadbury's, they were all around the 1800s. So these people were primarily now looking for a place to find cocoa that was, rather than bringing it all the way from South and Central America, West Africa is just here. So it was actually easier to
plant it,
and to grow it and export it. Now there's another twist to it. All the major players around that time were what we call Quakers. And Quakers are almost like the liberals of today. They don't like abuse of human rights. So Roundtree, Cadbury's, etc., who were the Quakers, insisted that because slavery had been banned, they were not going to buy cocoa from Fernando Po and Sao Tome. So they were now looking for alternative places. Now the Basel missionaries at the time, who were also doing slavery anywhere, we think they were priests and no.
Oh, they were also doing slavery?
Oh, of course. They were doing all kinds of, and they were trading as well. So they had a trading post in Fernando Po. So Tete Kwashi was sent to the trading post in Fernando Po to go and do whatever. They used to have these terms, they called them the Gome boys. These guys, they are hustlers. They went to find different things to do in different places. So that's how come Tete Kwashi went to Fernando Po. And he came back to establish a plantation, which, of course, the Basel missionaries, again, because their focus was very much spreading religion and education. One of the things that they also did was, okay, when you came, they taught you how to grow the stuff that would sustain you when you went to set up a mission in Agogo or in those places where they and incidentally, again, the first teacher training college, which is Ekopon Training College, which was established by the Basel missionaries. So they intertwined their teaching of Christianity with education, etc. So that was how then the cocoa thing spread. And Tete Kwashi was a blacksmith working for the Basel missionaries. Now again, the story says that Tete Kwashi came in 1879 and brought cocoa. Interesting, wonderful. But same time, in 1886, which is 5 or 6 years, Sir Branford Griffith, who was the governor at the time, who established Ebri Gardens, was actually cultivating seedlings.
Oh, wow.
And sending them out to people like my family, who then eventually started cultivating cocoa in their cropping. So there was already a plan to actually grow the crop and send it to Europe. I always ask the question when asked.
So there was cocoa in this country before Tete Kwashi brought his cocoa?
Yes. There was. It was actually established cocoa especially in Ekopon with the Basel missions. I always ask the question. So if Tete Kwashi was the one who established commercial whatever, who was he? Who did he sign the contract with to produce this stuff to be put on a ship, to be sent to Europe, where it is there's a contract that's signed, traded. There's a missing there's a missing link in the story when you actually think about how the commodity then. So from the 1886, around that time when it was introduced to Ghana, I think or Gold Coast at the time, our first export was about 36 kilos.
Are we giving Tete Kwashi an undue credit?
I wouldn't say that we are giving Tete Kwashi undue credit. I'll say that it was important to create a national hero for whatever reason, and one has their own story as to how that story was created, because we have to have a national something to look up to. But we then we almost stopped thinking beyond just growing the stuff, because I was just going to mention that from 1886, I think it was 36 bags that we exported. By 2011, we were doing almost 300,000 metric tons, and it was all bought by Cadbury's and Roundtrees. These were the British companies that were Quakers that insisted that because they were not interested in the slave trade, they wanted to find a place where people owned their land, where they could grow, and they could actually then trade with a free conscience. So that's when you look also at the growth of the chocolate industry, especially the latter 1800s, Cadbury's, Roundtree again, the monarchy, and the purchase of cocoa, plus all the things that happened, good things that happened to us in the Gadgetsburg economy, our railways, our schools, Achimota School, our Kolebu Hospital, or Takrady, they were all built with our cocoa money. So it was revenue that they were benefiting from, but it was important for them to establish their infrastructure here so they could then take it up. Further on, then it becomes even more interesting and complicated. They then set up trading, almost like trading channels. There's a very shadowy organization called the Federation of Cocoa Commerce, FCC. When you read about them, and they still exist today, but they were established in 1929. Specifically, if you cannot export or you cannot have a cocoa trade unless you pay your $500,000 or whatever to the FCC, unless you are registered with FCC in London, etc. Now that also came about because in and around the 1920s, local farmers insisted local farmers and the landowners insisted that no, the price that they were being paid was not good. So they wanted to negotiate a better price. So there was a cocoa boycott, which led to the burning of cocoa, etc. until 1937, when the British government or the governor then intervened on behalf of the British interests. That's when they set up a commission called the Noel Commission, which then investigated the reasons behind extra. And when they came out to their report, the farmers never signed that they wanted some, because one of the recommendations was price control, etc., for the interest of British companies. Okay, so that then eventually evolved into what became Cocoa Marketing Board in 1948, which is the harbinger of our current cocoa board.
All right. Would you say that cocoa is an African product, original African product, or it was brought into Africa?
It's a South and Central American product. So incidentally, again, very interesting comparator, because, for example, palm oil or the palm tree is indigenous to West Africa. The Malaysians and the Indonesians have come to take it and done wonderful things with it. When you look at what they do with the palm tree here, palm soup, we build with it brooms, what do they call it? Even the kernel oil. I mean, there's so many things that we do with the palm tree.
Right.
What do we do with cocoa? We put it in a jute sack and send it away. But when you go to South and Central America, they do so many things with it. You can make timber out of the cocoa tree. A tree that grows for 80 years. You can make wood timber out of it. You can make furniture out of it. You can make fertilizer out of the pot. There's so many things that we're not doing. So when you say that cocoa is not indigenous, that's true. And it actually reflects in the way, because after all, it was brought here. The people who brought here had been dealing with it the Spanish and the Portuguese, and they've been dealing with it for 300 years or so before. They knew exactly what they wanted. So they brought it here, told us exactly how to ferment the beans and do whatever, how they wanted it so that they will get the chocolate taste or whatever. And they basically then told us, produce this thing for us to. That's why we're almost locked into producing cocoa beans for chocolate, rather than thinking beyond what else we can use, because that's what they came to teach us. And incidentally, when you even look at our current cocoa board laws, etc., we are only focused on beans. Whilst there's so much else that you can do with them, but we're focused on not even just beans, we're focused on producing beans, putting it in the jute sack to send to the chocolate majors for them to make chocolate, because that's what we have been brought up to believe.
Walk me through what you do with cocoa.
Okay. Exciting. Thank you very much. I think I brought some.
Yes.
I brought some stuff.
Some beautiful stuff from your.
I brought some stuff. I think the first thing we do is we have an ecotourism project. An ecotourism. So you can actually come and see what we do, how we grow our cocoa on our farm.
Wow.
Yes.
Where do you grow your cocoa?
We have a couple of places, but our main farm is at Oremo. Asamankas is about 45 minutes away from here. We have a beautiful farm. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, I can say it with pride.
What's the acreage like?
We are doing about under cultivation now, almost about 50 acres.
50 acres.
Yeah, but the land size on the farm is about 82. It's lovely stream, hilly, lovely place.
Do you catch snakes in there once in a while?
You know, snakes cannot be caught in the wild just like that. Snakes usually come out at night to feed when human activity is low. So occasionally you climb a coconut tree and you might see a snake in there, but they have their food to eat, so they will rather quietly go away. You know, so the snake story is not really an issue because of human activity. I mean, we again, back to what we do.
Right.
So our ecotourism farm, you know, we grow our own cocoa. You can trace exactly what how we grow our beans, particular, organic, etc. You know. Then we do simple things like cocoa nibs. And cocoa nibs are really basically very healthy, 100% cocoa. And people think cocoa, fresh cocoa is actually better. No, if it's fermented properly, you can actually taste the nibs. If it's got its own acquired taste. So and when it comes to health benefit, again, I think I mentioned cocoa and health. I mentioned the fact that
it gives men erection and all that.
And that importantly lowers blood pressure. Very important. And it's a polyphenols in there that helps lower blood pressure. There's a study done with the Kuna Indians, and the Kuna Indians are a group of Indians in the Panama area. So they compared those who live complete indigenous life and those who had moved to Panama City.
Right.
And they found out that all the ones who were in their original indigenous state, they took about 6 to 7 cups of pure cocoa a day. They had no hypertension, they had no diabetes, as compared to their compatriots who had moved to Panama City with all the sugary stuff, the kind of papaya, the kind of papaya diet, the ice creams, the whatever. Okay, so very interesting health benefit of cocoa.
Fire!
When you look at, the CEO of Cocoa Board is a very good example. He takes cocoa drink regularly. Look at how trim and healthy he looks, even though he's a fairly senior person. So so we do the nibs. We also do, I think I brought some of that. We do a very simple, it's most like, it's akin to an energy bar. And considering the fact that cocoa again contains 55% fat, you know, and when we say fat, natural plant fat, it is the best source and store for energy. And so we do our product like an energy bar with, again, like the way we do our local cat cake or our local kubi cake. So we have a blend with coconut, a blend with peanut, a blend with ginger, and a blend with just cocoa alone. But it's also the kind of thing that We can do seasonal varieties with baobab, with tiger nut. So it depends on the addition that we want to have in season.
Right.
And incidentally, it's doing extremely well, especially on the export market. Very simple. And in doing these things, also we take off that's the husk right there.
Yes.
And it's becoming such a big.
That's
product.
the husk of the cocoa.
Yeah, the
back of the cocoa that we throw away.
Yes. No, we don't even have it. No, you're talking about the pod. This one we don't have it because we've already sold the beans.
Oh yes.
You get me? This one we don't have it. We've already, because it's part of the beans. We've already sold it.
Wow.
Aha. Now it's becoming such a big thing because.
Okay, so this is the coating around the seed.
Exactly.
Not the pod.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it is so healthy. It is so I'm sure you try it and you tell me.
Wow.
And it's becoming such a big thing, especially in the last 2-3 years in Europe, extra. But we have this thing for free.
Wow.
So when I say for free, in terms of we would rather bring Lipton Lipton tea from somewhere that has been really whatever, whilst we have our own good quality stuff, which is not only locally produced and it's also very healthy. Yes, then from there we look at other things like we've got a collaboration with Walter Winery. We do a cocoa wine. Again, anything that has a sweet outer top, you can actually make a
wine out of it.
You can make an alcohol out of it.
Okay.
Then, of course, we have the option of making chocolate as and when we want to. I have not focused on chocolate in particular because chocolate is expensive. Look at the machinery that you need. Plus, it's already an overloaded, overcrowded market. How can you compete with Lindt and Cadbury's and which other brand that have been doing this for 150 years? Sorry. I mean, and then we now get up and we say we want to create a chocolate market, and that's my gripe with us naming something as a national chocolate. Why don't we name it as a national cocoa value addition week?
Okay, I get what
where
you mean.
we now can look at the cosmetics, and we've not even talked about cosmetics. You are a very arty person, so you can actually make art out of cocoa. The pods, you dry them well. Look, it costs $26 on the internet. Dried, polished cocoa pod. So what are we doing to ourselves? When we sit down, we cross our legs.
Is it that we are lazy people when it comes to this cocoa, or we are just not interested, or we are ignorant? Which is it?
I think it's a combination of everything, of all of the above. Because one, let's acknowledge that it was brought to us by someone for them to tell us to do specifically what they wanted.
To do their bidding.
Exactly.
Yes.
So until you start to see beyond that, you will not understand the game. Two, to add value to something or to create something different, that means that you have to have a local market.
That's true.
And two, one of the things we've been challenged with is creating the market and then develop. So creating first product development, creating different things, then creating the market. And incidentally, a lot of the stuff, the markets are actually external export market. So in that respect, it requires a change in mindset to be innovative about doing things different. Look, we talk about the cocoa syndicated loan. It's easy money. You go and borrow 1.4 billion. Then you turn it around and you make 3 billion. And you do that every year. Some product you own yourself, then you go and borrow money to come and buy it from yourself. And then you just make 3 billion out of it. Then you are laughing. Because what else? What do? You collect the thing from farmers, put it in a jute sack, pay them some, make a margin on it.
Is that what the cocoa syndicated loan is about?
That is what it's about.
You borrow money to improve the cocoa industry.
You borrow money to buy from yourself. You actually don't do much to improve the industry. It's almost like a recycled thing. If we were to improve the industry, we should then be investing in small-scale factories. We should be encouraging people like ourselves to developing innovative products. I mean, it beats my mind when we go to cosmetic shops, etc., and hair, those who make hair products, etc. What do you see? L'Oreal, you see this, you see this. But meanwhile, the top quality things that can be used for these skin products are in cocoa and shea butter. So why are we not developing these industries to create wealth, to actually utilize what we grow ourselves, to reduce our exports, our exporting raw materials, and to create jobs and to create value and direction for our youth?
Let me understand these cocoa syndicated loans properly. Who do we get the loans from, and what is the original intention of this loan?
Okay, if I understand it well, it's a syndicated, so a number of financial institutions, and because of the amount involved, local banks cannot really compete. So it is syndicated money, a decent low interest rate that is lent, that is Ghana Cocoa Board borrows.
From who?
From whether it is Morgan Stanley or
right.
I mean external standard
yes.
bank, whatever external parties that provide the syndicated loan, and of course people get their cut out or whatever, and then they buy cocoa from
the
farmers, whatever, pay whatever, and then once the cocoa is bought, they then sell it to the Barry-Calibus and the big cocoa majors, who then take it and make and create 120 billion industry out of what we give to them.
I guess
so what do we make? We make what? We make
tanks and they make millions.
If we borrowed 1.4 billion and we sell and we even make 3.5 billion, how much have we made? 1 point something.
That's
when
right.
somebody turns the thing around and makes 120, it's madness.
Why has it been very difficult to turn cocoa around in this country? What is the problem? We don't have the expertise, or what?
We do. Like, the first thing is that it's a game that has been established in a particular way for over 100 years. Okay. If you are now going to break that game, or even though you don't even need to break it, if you are now going to come up with some alternative strategy, first you have to understand why the game was this way, and two, whatever then you do, you have to have a local industry that consumes. So let's say, for example, and again, when you look historically at what they did in the 1930s, they burnt the cocoa. My predecessors, and they burned. They said, "No, sorry, you won't sell this. You will burn it." You know, that for me then strikes something. After all, now we're talking about biofuels. Cocoa is 55% fat. So why are we not burning the thing for energy? No, I mean, why are we not creating alternative uses for a raw material that we produce ourselves? But to be able to do that, we have to make the sacrifice of the foreign exchange that is guaranteed that we'll have to earn from the beans. So there has to be research plus commercial ventures that actually come up with production. You know, and for me, the simplest is cosmetics.
If I understand you very well, what you are saying is that to be able to get more innovative with our cocoa, we have to sacrifice the foreign exchange for now.
We will have to make some transitional sacrifice. I mean, an organization like Cocoa Board, for example,
will run out of business.
For me, I see them as a very nice political slush fund, regardless of whichever party in power. And I say it bluntly without beating around the bush. What's that large statutory monopoly still doing in our current economic and circumstances?
Has it outlived its usefulness?
Completely, in the way that it is right now. I'm sorry, it's but you know, when you look at the Cocoa Board law very carefully, Objective D focused on beans, Objective I and J. If we went there, we were supposed to establish industries. We're supposed to even be able to buy out foreign companies, that whatever. We're supposed to be able to buy shares into places like Hershey's, whatever. So if we had done those things, or if we had then done, we would now be in a position where we are earning dividends, whatever, and rather than still borrowing this day and age, borrowing 1.4 billion every single year. Why are we importing rice or what? What is wrong with us?
Dr. Yao Mfodwo is my guest. Yes. He is Nana Aduna the second. Achamihine. And he's also a medical doctor. He's a consultant psychiatrist. And at the same time, he's a sleep doctor. In fact, he was the doctor of the 2006 Blakk Stars team that went to Germany. And you were their psychologist, right?
Yes, I was.
How was it like?
Fascinating experience. I mean, it was passion, it was knowledge, it was an experience where it was almost like we had a united purpose at the time, and it was about everybody being professional, the management, the players, the technical team. It was just different. I mean, and for us who joined relatively late, we had our roles to play, but at the end of the day, there was that synergy that, I mean, that continued a bit in 2010, because I didn't work with the team then, but I lived in South Africa then, so I was quite close to the team. But ever since then, it looks like we've just lost our way. But anyway, but back to where you started from with respect to brains. You know, there's a very interesting correlation between those who win the Nobel Prize and the consumption of chocolate.
Oh, really?
Of quality. And when you say quality chocolate, chocolate with a high concentration of cocoa.
Okay.
Yeah, most of the Nobel winners,
they drank cocoa.
Yes, and where are they found? Switzerland, Germany, Belgium, those places. There's a direct correlation. Research
with the brain.
Yes, the people who win Nobel, or whether it's Nobel in physics,
and
Nobel in maths.
This is a brain doctor talking to you. He says that when you drink cocoa, your brains open up and you are able to win a Nobel Peace Prize.
It is true. There's a direct correlation between those who are clever, who win these research Nobel Prize. I'm not talking Nobel Peace Prize. No, I'm talking Nobel
Prize.
Chemistry, physics.
Not only peace.
No. Ask
everything.
Ask for peace.
Fire!
As for peace, I'm sorry, your man Obama even won peace.
He won it.
Then afterwards he went to bomb Libya.
Fire!
Dr. Yao Mfodwo is my guest in the studio. Nana Aduna the second. He's the cocoa expert that we've been looking for all this while. Nana, tell me this. With the Blakk Stars, I'm still on the Blakk Stars. Did they have a psychologist with the team this time around?
No, not to my knowledge. No.
The year that they went and slapped each other, were you their psychologist?
No. That was in Brazil 2014. No, I was not with the team.
Why did they drop you? Did they sack you? Did you sack yourself? What happened?
Teams come, coaches come and go, and people have their different approaches, etc. I think for me, and I can reflect to 2008. I think our structures and systems that we put in place in 2006 started collapsing from 2008 when Coach Claude Leroy took over from Djokovic at the time. Claude Leroy was a typical white man who has been in Africa and plays the big man game. So he was, when I say he plays the big man, he has the president of Cameroon's number on his phone. He has the speed dial of all the important parliament. So he thought he was coming to do a similar thing in Ghana when he has problems and he will call whoever. So he broke down all the structures that we had put around the team. That's the way I saw that we were put around the team at the time. So if you remember in 2008, Asamoah Gyan and Bafo Gyan were sent away from the camp or whatever because of some issues. And they said, no, President Kufuor should intervene and talk to them. But what business has the president got? But that was the mentality that Claude Roy came with. Because in the places, in the Francophone countries and whatever he had coached, he had the speed dial of President Paul Biya or whoever's number. And so when he's having a problem, he would just go. But Ghana is not like that. We at least had tried to put certain systems or whatever in place. So things started to collapse.
What were some of the psychological problems you had to handle with the Blakk Stars team? Were some of them smoking too much? Were some drinking too much? Were some sleeping too much?
No.
Were some people having nightmares?
You know, human beings were very interesting people, and so it's about how you people gel and work together. I mean, in 2006, I mean, Stephen Appiah was a gem. I mean, a gem of a leader. You know, so you sat with Stephen in a room and you spoke to him, and he just basically reached out to. It was like he was an easy conduit to get to. Another thing that, again, this is very in terms of focus, attention, goal scoring, whatever. Asamoah Gyan.
When he missed that penalty, right?
No, you're talking about that. You're talking about South. No, Asamoah Gyan. We had a focused plan on, very simple. How many times do you hit the target when you shoot?
Okay.
You know, and the improvement of Asamoah Gyan from our first game with Italy to our second game with Czech, we counted his scoring or whatever rate at training and in the games between the two. I can confidently say that he improved from almost 50% to close to 90%. What happened he touched the ball the first time, it was in the goalpost. So these are simple, practical. I mean, the more you practice something, the better you get at it. A very comparative, again, we're talking science, a very simple comparator was Maxwell, what's his name?
Is that the work of the psychologist?
Well, it's, anything that helps people to come together, plus to improve their
would you recommend sex for some of the Blakk Stars, players to improve their psychological balance?
Sex is a natural. No, it's not even a. Sex is part of our look. I when someone asks me this question, I always say that there are 8 basic things in life that God has given us for free. Whether you're a Rastafarian, whether you're a Christian, whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a Chinese.
I'm sure cocoa is one of them.
No. Cocoa is not one of them. But first, to be born.
Okay.
2, to move, mobility. 3, drink water. 4, sleep. 5, food. 6, sex. 7, excretion. 8, to die. These 8 things.
So the last one is also a gift.
God gives these 8 fundamental things in life,
including death.
So exactly, because
that's a gift.
Exactly, it's without death, life. Somebody else must come and replace you on this earth. So sex is a fundamental. Sex is not a moral issue. Sexuality is a health issue. So pastors and priests and whoever out there will be denying women from expressing that. Please stop frustrating them with all your so-called prophecies that Paul was walking somewhere and then the Corinthians and then he decided, sorry, no. Sex is a fundamental need.
Do you subscribe to LGBTQI+? You are a psychologist.
No, I would not use the word subscribe to. Look, in my training as a psychiatrist, you find all kinds of ranges of people. A lot of especially the Q aspect of things.
The queer.
They are a lot of them are psychiatric illnesses. They're delusional. Somebody says that
he's queer.
He's a dog.
Yeah.
And he says that he walks like a dog.
Yeah. Somebody says he's a man when he's actually a woman.
But then that's delusional. That's not. It's almost like saying somebody says I'm president. Then he goes to sit in front of Jubilee House, and then he's signing papers. The person is not okay.
It's crazy.
So if you say you are a woman,
Yes.
when you are delusional, and for that so that's just simplifying.
It's a health issue.
Exactly, it's a health.
How about homosexuality and lesbianism?
You know that there are people who, and that has been with us for in terms of getting sexual pleasure from same sex. That's been with us for.
Is it a psychological imbalance or is healthy?
No. I would not use the word healthy. I would say that it is an alternative to the normal.
Okay.
But
It's still normal.
Yes, to describe them as unwell is unfortunately not true.
Okay, so it's still normal.
Yes,
Homosexuality is normal.
Yes, there are people who have the preference for alternative sexual relationships, and that happens. But in terms of same-sex relations, you might abhor it, but the reality is that
It's normal.
It happens. Yes,
It's normal.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Did you have some gays in the Blakk Star team? Did you have to face something like that in 2006?
Not to the best of my knowledge. No,
Nothing like that. Nothing like that came to you.
No, not to the best of my knowledge. Not to the best of my knowledge.
You are a traditionalist.
Yes, sir.
Do you believe in God?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
There's a supreme being, and it really is the conduit and how we approach it. Look, again, in our Khan system, we have a very matrilineal focus, but there's also a representation of God as the supreme being. It is how you then interact to approach, and again, that's where we have every 6 weeks we call Adai, and the Asantis will say Okudai, and the Akwesidai, and Ekwapums we celebrate Okudai. And again, historically, it's because of the Basel missionaries. That's why we moved our Akwesidai to Wednesday, Okudai, so the Christians could then go on Sunday
to church.
Yes, it was because of that reason we moved. So in Ekwapim, you see we have a Ukudai, we do our Adai, and Adai is the sleeping place of the ancestors. Exactly, that is what Adai. So when they say Yebutu Adai or Yekudi Akosida, it's almost like you have a 6-week cycle, and incidentally, again, our monthly our lunar whatever is every 6 weeks. It's a cycle, and then it culminates into every six. Then there's a big one Adaibutu before. Then the celebratory one is Ujra. So there's a method to all this.
Right.
So Adai is when there's a sleeping place for the ancestors, and we go and we consult and we ask them extra. How different is that from going to church on every Sunday or going to...
Do you go to church?
Yes, I do. Occasionally go to church.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're a Christian?
Yes.
What kind of music do you enjoy listening to?
I have some... I like Bisake Day.
Oh, Bisake Day.
And
wow.
then there's this fascinating young lady. It's almost like I have a crush on her.
Okay.
There's Miss V. I love her music.
Miss G.
Miss V.
Miss V, okay.
Miss V.
Okay.
Davi. Wow. So those are my two. Beside the local, those are my two favorite local artists. African artists. Awilo Longomba.
Yeah. That's right.
And then I love Kassav.
Yeah, Kassav.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I love Kassav too.
Yeah, I love Kassav.
Which of their songs do you like?
If I tell you I know the titles of the songs,
you can just sing a little bit of it, and I will give it to you.
Kupe Bamba, Awilo Longomba, that one.
Mfodwo, Nana Aduna the second, the king of cocoa. He's a consultant psychiatrist and he's a sleep doctor. Oh gosh. Now he was the Blakk Stars psychologist in 2006. A very interesting personality. Now he said on this show that homosexuality is normal. In fact, and this interesting personality, handsome and looking so good. Also loves to swim. He dances once in a while. We have a couple of questions more for him before we go, but in the interim, I want to introduce you to something that is going to blow your mind. Now, the human body has natural defenses that fight diseases. Once these defenses are compromised, it allows for all kinds of infections to attack the body. Koa mixture, yes, is a herbal medicine that supports the human body for your general well-being. It comes in a calories liquid form. And it is very, very, very beautiful, and it makes your body stand tall against diseases. Now take Koa mixture for your general well-being. Get a bottle of Koa mixture today and restore your health. Koa mixture is available in pharmacy shops, over-the-counter medicine sellers, and of course in health.
And it's before March, and I invite you to the 3FM Made in Gobe Festival. See you there. Nice. This is my lunch today. This is Gobe. Plantain is beans, all mixed up nice. And as you know,
Gobe. We have our beans, we have our cocoa. You know, the I am I say, oh, hey, I could check a can action. I say, bunch of cocoa. And no, I say, what I say. Now the cook a cow or the paper cream. So, what I say, Nakushiaba could dash Kusian, which me up here, none of police system thinking. Not Jane in this so phones are line. That is how we are going to enjoy. On the 4th of March, if you are not with us to eat Gobe, I'm sure you'll be missing out. So you need to be part of the 3FM Gobe Festival. Myself, Giovanni, Helen, Johnny Hughes, Kawawa, everyone. If you are missing out on this, come on, my friend. Then you don't need to live in Ghana, please. Stay out of it. It's the Gobe Festival 2023 with 3FM. So make sure you are part of it. Helen, you good?
I'm good, but also.
Gobe, 4th of March, 3FM Gobe Festival. Gobe go.
My lunch today, this is Gobe. Planting is beans, mix up nice. And as you know, we're heading towards the very first Gobe Festival, 4th March. 3FM is bringing the best makers of beans and gari and everything else, Gobe together for 4th March Independence Saturday. We're inviting everybody to come. So this is how it is in Zanzibar, I'm sure you know. And on that day there will be a lot of this and many more on the ground. So watch out for the details. And it's on 4th March, and I invite you to the 3FM Maiden Gobe Festival. See you there. Nice.
Charlie, this is MOG. It's Gobe time. You know what I'm saying, Charlie? When we talk about Gobe here, when you get your beans, gari kakra, cocoa kakra, beef kakra, inkusia kakra, with pepper underneath. Charlie Ogbena. You understand? So guess what? On the 4th of March, 3FM is bringing you the biggest ever Gobe season. And I'm going to be there. Make sure you are there. Let's all eat Gobe together. I want to chop with you, you understand? You take your spoon, I take my spoon, and we chop together. Gobe.
020-477-5042. Yes, call Pearl on 0204-775042. You can also visit their website at www.lakesidestate.com, or you check them out on social media. On Facebook, they are Lakeside at Lakeside. And Lakeside_estate on Instagram. Lakeside Estate, providing quality houses at affordable prices. The Gobe Festival is on. Gobe. I have a friend who calls it Guabe. Whether it's Gobe or Guabe, my God, it has come to stay. We are bringing all Gobe sellers to one venue. Sharpen your teeth. Do you like it with X, or you just want it raw? Hey! Especially when you throw some rice on it, it becomes so Gobelicious. And after that, you eat an energy bar of cocoa. Oh gosh! Aye. From Osu to Tema, DC to Abelenque, do you like it with a lot of oil? It's so Gobelicious. Now to participate in this Gobelicious experience, please call 0243-721148. Today, that's 0243-721148, and book your space. If you are a Gobe seller, Guabe is too Guabelicious. It is an initiative by 3FM, my own 3FM. My producer is reserving his slight pot belly for the Gobelicious day. He would eat her till everybody runs away. Hey Doc, do you eat Gobe sometimes?
Yes, I do.
Is it good? Is it okay to eat it after cocoa or eat before cocoa?
You know, the interesting thing about cocoa is that once you have just very little of it, and that's the secret behind being able to lose weight, etc.
Yeah.
You actually, because of the high fat content, a natural plant fat.
How does it improve erection?
Okay, there is a what we call the polyphenols in there. The polyphenols help open up the blood vessels.
Oh.
Okay. So that's the secret behind them being able to lower, because high blood pressure is about narrowing your blood vessels, so then the heart is pumping again.
Does it have side effects?
Cocoa? No.
Like in this opening and closing
No.
of...
The wonderful thing about the polyphenols is that, again, they are the same things we call antioxidants.
Okay.
So they are the ones that go around scavenging all the impurities in the body.
So if I eat 1 bar of your energy bar cocoa right now, does it give me an instant erection?
No, it will not give you an instant reaction.
Because my producer seems to be interested in it. I think he wants an erection.
And also we men, we all focus on ourselves erections.
Yeah.
Look, there are happy hormones for women in all cocoa products.
Yeah.
And they are serotonin, endorphins, which
Yeah.
actually make your mood feel
sexual.
happy. Exactly.
Sexual.
So it's not only
Including women.
yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. That's people will tell you that when they feel down, they like to eat chocolate. It's because of the serotonin and endorphins in there that it.
Lois is here. I think she wants a bit of your cocoa to make her happy for tonight. Look, we have run out of time. In fact, we need to arrange again and have you here for 5 hours.
By all means.
You are so knowledgeable,
By all
and
means.
I'm wondering where this knowledge is coming from. But looking at your background, please, in 30 seconds, give us a message and then we close.
Cocoa, knowledge about cocoa, passion for cocoa, the love, and we are in the love week, so it's healthy, and it gives us long life, and it's our product.
Okay.
We've got to patronize it. We've got to use it. It's ours.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you.
I appreciate you, Doc. My name is Blakk Rasta, and I want to say thank you so much. Catch me again on Monday between 10 and 2. Until then.